In today's video, we're going to go over the latest Lions news and rumors. We're going to be talking about fixing the edge position and free agency, guard position in the NFL draft, and the latest with our Detroit Lions. Right now, before we get into the video, how are you feeling about the Lions offseason so far? 1, if you think it stinks. 10, if you think it's absolutely great. Put that in the comments below. First off here, the Detroit Lions re-signed Donovan Peoples-Jones to a 1-year deal. We've been talking about the Lions wide receiver depth chart and what they got to do to get this back up. One of the plans that I had was re-sign Donovan Peoples-Jones and Josh Reynolds, and one of those guys are done here. Now look, if the Lions decided not to replace Josh Reynolds, Donovan Peoples-Jones, in my opinion, absolutely can, I think, fill that spot up there. You're noticing at the second half of the season, a couple weeks after we traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones, him and Jared Goff were really starting to get on the same page, and the connections were occurring, helping up the Lions' pass game. So the question right now is, will the Detroit Lions sign Josh Reynolds? He's available, obviously, and the most that I could get about the rumors around him is teams potentially could offer him a 2-year, $14 million deal. So we're talking about a year with the $7 million. No word on, if the Lions actually want to re-sign him or not. There's literally not much at all about Josh Reynolds on the internet. But I do think he's a piece that the Detroit Lions could bring back for sure. You look what he did last year, 40 receptions, 608 yards, 5 touchdowns, an average of 15.2. That's not chump change for receptions. In all honesty, that's a pretty good numbers. And his connection with Jared Goff is precise. They've been playing together for a very long time, and they understand each other really, really well. Now, if the Detroit Lions decided to bring Josh Reynolds back, we would have the same depth chart that we did last year at the wide receiver position. Right now, though, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, and Donovan Peoples-Jones for 1 through 4. Antoine Green is sitting at 5, and Traquan Smith, Tom Kennedy, and Darius Fountain are also in on the wide receiver position. So we're very close to returning nearly the same wide receivers back. We just got to figure out, do they want to bring Josh Reynolds back? Could they put Josh Reynolds at number 5 and Antoine Green at number 6? That's the biggest question mark that we're going to wait for. So question for you, do you want Josh Reynolds back? Type Y for yes and N for no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One of the biggest issues for the Detroit Lions so far this offseason and what we've been dealing with in season is trying to figure out who is going to be that man at the edge position. Are the Detroit Lions going to fill more holes at that edge position? So right now, it's not looking too great. You got Ada Hutchinson sitting at 1. Marcus Davenport is your edge 2. Joshua Pascal, John Kaminsky, Mitchell Argud, and Matthias Betts sitting at 3 through 6. That's not the greatest step at the edge position. We still got holes to fill there for sure. And the Lions definitely got to fill those holes, whether it be in the draft or at free agency. And a couple of players right here available that the Lions could sign to help out that edge position. Now, this is no particular order, so I'm not putting one player better than the other. I just listed the players here. Unique Ngakoue had a pretty good season last year. The Lions could get him. Jadeveon Clowney from the Ravens. Shaq Lawson from the Bills. Tyrus Bowser and Derek Barnett also available for help. Carl Lawson, Marcus Golden, and Ifeatu Odengbo, they're available as well from the Jets as well as the Steelers. Joe Gaziano and Bradley Anai available for the Detroit Lions. Yeah, that's not the greatest depth, in all honesty. You look at it, that's definitely not the best. And I think the Lions can sign one of these guys or somebody else, and then in the draft, focus who's going to be the legit option opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, they could believe that Marcus Davenport is that guy opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. It's hard for me to fathom that because he hasn't had a great career. Some injuries there at Minnesota is same. Sometimes he's dealing with the New Orleans Saints, and he wasn't that great in all honesty. So I think he's just a rotational edge rusher, and the Lions are going to probably get the better pass rusher in the draft. That's what I got going on. But the Lions got some money because they made some moves today to save a little bit more money. They restructured the contract of Carlton Davis, the corner whom we traded for. His old contract was $14 million up to $500,000 per game, $352,000 in roster bonus. Cap hit was $14.35 million. Since it's changed, it's different now. His cap hit only $8 million. His salary is only $8 million. $1.5 in signing bonus up to $500,000 per game. Cap hit $9.85 million. It avoids automatically 2025. So a good spot for the Detroit Lions fixing that cap problem. And that's what the Detroit Lions are working with, right? They got to fix some cap here and get better at those positions. That's what the Lions are absolutely trying to accomplish right now. With the restructure right there, the Detroit Lions save some money. Right now we have $34.27 million in cap space freed up. How does that rank with the rest of the NFL? Well, the Lions are sitting at sixth best team now with cap space in all of the NFL, and that is a really, really good thing to have right now for the Detroit Lions. That is absolutely the best thing to have right now. Question for you: how will the Lions replace Jonah Jackson? F for free agency or D for draft pick? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up for the Detroit Lions, quick news here. Chase Lucas signed with San Francisco 49ers. Now, you may have already known that, but it's going to free up a spot for the Lions to potentially pick up another corner. Now, this could just be a low-end guy. We're talking about a free agent whom you may not expect, or an undrafted guy, or potentially in the draft later in the draft or anywhere. But they got one spot open up. We'll find out what they do with that. Also in the NFC North, you already know this, but Justin Fields has been traded from the Chicago Bears to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they don't get much back at all. At all. We're talking about a 6th-round draft pick and chance to become a 4th-rounder if he plays over 51% in 2024. So you know the Chicago Bears, what they're doing. They're taking a quarterback with the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So the Lions will be having, it looks like, 2 rookie quarterbacks in the division, Vikings and Bears, because I fully expect the Vikings to invest in a quarterback as well. Probably trade up, in my opinion. The Detroit Lions are looking to get better, at least in my opinion, at that guard position. Now, we asked a question earlier, should the Lions take one in free agency of the draft? I'm thinking they're going to go to free agency, so I want to give you a little bit of update of what the options are right now for our Detroit Lions. And again, in the draft, there's quality players here. There's 2 guys I think you all should really pay attention to, and it's in no particular order again. Jackson Powers Johnson is a center out of Oregon. He could play guard as well. This legit could be an option for the Detroit Lions to get better at that guard position. Now, I like his versatility and what he can bring. When you're looking towards the draft, this is probably going to be a day 2 type of pick right here for the NFL, and he's an option for the Lions. Cooper Beebe as well, in my opinion, is a day 2 pick, probably in the second to end of second round. This would be a real good option for the Detroit Lions. Other players the Lions could get, it may require some trades up or down: Christian Haynes, Christian Mahogany, Mason McCormick, Zach Zinter, and Trevor Keegan. The Lions are trying to get better at that guard position. Now, look, they can go and get guards in free agency. They absolutely could. But if you're looking for a legit replacement for Jonah Jackson, the long-term solution, this would absolutely be the guard position. That's where they got to go in the draft. And again, I think you're looking in the first 3 rounds. Some of these guys you can get later on. But the Lions need to get better at that guard position in a big way. So look for the Lions to accumulate some of these prospects in the draft. So I know a lot of people are asking me what they're going to do for that guard position. That's what I believe the Detroit Lions are going to do in the draft. And I keep stressing this. Please do not hate. Please do not hate of the Detroit Lions getting a guard if they take one early. Taylor Decker, remember, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, all in the first round. They're staples for this Lions football team. Again, I think that the questions for this team now going forward is, when are they going to re-sign their own guys? That is going to be the biggest question for me. We're talking about St. Brown, potentially to an extension. We're talking about Jared Goff, potentially to an extension, and Lee McNeil, potentially to an extension. And, of course, will they bring back some of their own free agents, like the one we just talked about in Josh Reynolds? So that's what we're looking for going forward. Folks, share this video. It does help out when you do that. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That's what we're trying to do on here, is to make the channel grow and get better for the long haul. Again, hit that notification bell. There could be breaking news at any time when Lions sign a player. You know I'm going to talk about it. And we'll be live on Thursday at 4 p.m. With that said, folks, adios.